So the next topic is Grails web services. So here we're going to actually cover mostly REST, and the SOAP is getting less and less important. But so we'll talk about mostly REST in this presentation. So let's move on. So REST support in Grails. So REST has a built-in REST support, and so uses a Grails code for RESTful web service implementation. So now the Grails 2.2.3 2.2.x has some limitations on its REST support, unfortunately. The Grails 2.3 will provide much better enhanced REST support. So we'll take a look at 2.3 features, but mostly we're going to actually try with the 2.2.x with its limited REST support. However, you can use JAX-RS plugin. So JAX-RS plugin, you can actually use JAX-RS annotations for your the code, and this one actually provides a complete REST support. Okay. So we're going to actually do some of the Grails 2.2.3, the built-in REST support, and then JAX-RS. So first, XML and JSON marshalling. So the controller can use Grails XML marshalling support to implement the get method. So that's actually pretty straightforward. So all you have to do is whenever you want to send things back as an XML, all you have to do is just render and then object and then as XML or as JSON. Okay, so this is a case that you're sending it as a single instance, and this is actually multiple. Okay, so all those things will be handled by Grails automatically, which is nice. So XML marshalling, updating. So to support the put and post, okay, you can use a params object, which Grails enhances with the ability to read an incoming XML packet. So this is nice. So the Grails will figure out when the XML is coming or when JSON is coming as input data, either put or post. It will actually capture that as a params. Okay, so that's very nice. So this is an example. Suppose incoming data is an XML like this. Okay, so product, and it has a name and vendor information. And what you can do is you can capture that XML as a params like this. So XML marshalling is automatically done by the Grails framework. Okay, so that is very nice. All right, so let's do our exercise 1. So yeah, first of all, exercise 0, I want you to actually install some REST tools. The first one you want to install is cur. If you are running macOS, it's probably there already. If you're using Windows, you can download it. So you go to this the call download site, and you can just click download, and you can just unzip it, or you can install it. Okay. And another tool that I want you to install is the REST client. So you go to this website, and you're going to download the REST client. And actually, I have this one as part of the hands-on lab zip file. Okay, so so basically you are downloading the jar file. Okay, so I have actually included under the as part of this hands-on lab zip file, so you don't have to actually download it. So and you can just run the REST client like this: Java jar REST client UI32 jar, something like that. Okay, so for example, I'm gonna actually go to the Grails. And here's software. Actually, I even provided a run REST client bat file. Okay, but if you want to just copy this one, that should actually work as well. So it actually provides the GUI application which you can perform RESTful calls. Okay. from graphical fashion, but curl is usually actually good enough, I found. Okay, so this is the what you can actually see. Okay, all right, so let's see. By the way, if you want to use this tool, you want to actually set the options so that you can actually see the result in XML format. Otherwise, you're going to actually have one single line. Okay, yeah. So you want to actually auto intent. You want to select the auto intent response body so that you can actually see indented version of the response. Okay, so this one. Select this one, and then you should be able to see the indented version of the response. Okay, so exercise 1 is XML and JSON marshalling. So we are going to actually create our first, we're going to actually create the Grails application called the REST app. Okay, and we're going to actually do usual practice of creating a domain class. And then we modify the domain class with these two properties, name and age. We save them all, and we're going to actually perform generate all. And then we're going to actually modify bootstrap.groovy file so that we have some test code. So we have John, Silver, and Hilmano as a two student. Okay, so this is just for testing. And then we're going to run the application. Okay, so I have already done that. So if I actually click this one, you know, you're going to actually see, yeah, in this case, I already modified the code to actually see the XML. Okay, so unless you have made a change, you're going to actually see this too. So 1.1 is actually doing XML and JSON marshalling, which I have already done that. So the change you're going to make is we're going to actually play around with the list and show. So change your list code to, you know, send back student instance list as an XML. This is a collection. Okay, so you're going to actually modify this code with this. Okay, so basically, you know, up to this point is the same thing, but we are just returning student instance list as an XML. Okay, and for show the same thing. So we basically render the student instance as XML. Okay, all right. So now if I go over here, I should actually see the XML version of it. And now if I go to show version, then I'm gonna see the first student, John Silva. Okay. Now what you're going to do is now change to JSON. Okay, so we are going to use JSON. So we're going to actually import JSON, which I have done that already right there. So all I have to do in my code is basically changing this XML to JSON. And let's change this to show to as a JSON as well. And save the change. Okay. Now I'm going to go the link here, and I should actually, oops. Okay, I made a change. Filter. Okay, so maybe this URL is not quite right. So let me just go up there. Okay, so that works. So it looks like my internal link is not correct. So this one, yeah, so I'm actually receiving JSON. Okay, so I'm going to actually correct that. Okay, so I'm receiving data in the form of JSON. Okay, all right, so that is that. Now we're going to actually use REST client. So here we are going to, you know, do the same thing. So I'm going to just copy this student to list, and let's try to run it over here. And then you click this one, and then you're going to actually see the body. And so we're actually receiving things in JSON as expected. Okay. And you know, the show is the same thing. If I say show one, then it should display just first person. Okay, and you can also do use curl. So we can use curl. So let's try to use curl. And you should return again the JSON response. Okay, so and show is the same thing. Show dash one. Okay, so it displayed the okay, the first person. Okay, as expected. All right, so that's using cur. Okay, so that's it. Now let's move on to the next. Content negotiation. Content negotiation is basically, yeah, I'm going to explain that in a few seconds. So first of all, configuring MIME type. So if you actually go to config.groovy file, the Grails detects the format of a request containing either text XML or application XML media type as simply XML. Okay. So these are MIME types that are already configured for you. So XML, it could be either text XML or application XML. Okay, the content type. Okay, and JSON is going to be text JSON, something like that. All right, now content negotiation from the client. So client can ask, the response it wants to receive. So there are three different ways. One popular way is actually specifying the format it wants to receive using a notation .xml. Okay, or it could actually use a format. So question mark and format equal XML or format equal HTML, format equal the JSON. Okay, or setting the accept header, okay, to this one and this one. Okay, but unfortunately I couldn't actually get this one to work. Okay, which is probably fine. Nobody is actually changing accept header to get the desired format. Okay, so this two works fine. All right, so the const generation with format. So the code that you want to actually change in your controller is you are going to use with format, and if it is the HTML, then you are going to use like this. You're going to actually just return as before. Okay, so that's the regular code. If it is a JSON, you're going to actually render as JSON. If it is XML, you're going to actually render an XML. So this with format, the method is used to return the format that was requested by the client. Okay. All right. So let's do exercise 2. So what you're going to do is we're going to actually change the list code. So this is what used to have, right? Now we want to actually support the multiple request type. So that's content negotiation. So we are going to change with format method. So list is, so we're going to change this one with this. Okay, and for show, the same deal. We are going to change with format. So instead of this line, we are going to use copy and paste. Okay, and save. Okay, so and save the change. Okay, so now we should be able to go over here. So this is a case that we are actually receiving in HTML. Okay, so we should actually receive in the form of the HTML like this. Like this. Okay. If you want to receive in the form of XML, then you're going to actually say one.xml. So we should actually receive in the form of XML. Now, if you want to receive in the form of JSON, then we are going to have JSON extension like this, and then we should receive JSON. Okay, pretty straightforward. All right, now now using your browser, go to So this is the case of the list. So this is the list, XML, and so on. Okay, now here we can actually use explicit format parameter. So here I'm actually using format equal JSON, so that should be honored by the so you are actually receiving the JSON format. Now if I say XML, then I should receive in the form of XML. Okay, and if I say HTML, format equals HTML, then I should receive in the form of HTML. Okay. All right. So that is format. Now I could not actually get the accept the header things to work. Okay, so even if I run this guy, it's supposed to actually return in this case JSON, but it just keep returning as an HTML. So I'm not sure why that doesn't work, but that's current situation. Okay, so let's move on to the next. Okay, so URL mapping. So we are now going to actually learn how REST is being supported at the moment. So RESTful URL mapping option number one. So you can actually specify resource : product. So if you specify this, then Grails will automatically generate HTTP method for get, put, post, and delete like this. So when there is HTTP get, it will call show. When HTTP put is being called, it will actually call update. When HTTP post is actually called, it will save and delete. However, there is one missing. It doesn't have a way of calling list. Okay, so it's a little bit deficient. And also XML and JSON marshalling is provided as well. Now, instead of actually using this the resource product, what you can do is to support list is you're going to actually have your own the URL mapping in this case. So for this notation, for when there is an ID, that is actually when you want to support the show and update and delete. Okay. Now in this case, the marshalling is not gonna be done automatically unless you say parse request true is also specified. Okay. And the ID has to be in this case a number. And in terms of list and save, we actually have the different the setting here. So when when we have just a controller without the ID at the end, then if it is a get, then we're going to call list, and if it's a post, then you're going to actually do the save. Okay, so this is actually more the nicer setting. Okay, so that's what you're going to actually use. So that's exercise 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually update the URL mapping with the one that I just showed to you. So when there is a student, and depending on which HTTP method, it will actually either call or save. Okay. When there is an ID, depending on what HTTP method that is being called, it will call, show, delete, and update. Okay. So let's add these setting to URL mapping. Oh, not the URL mapping. What are you talking about? URL mapping Groovy does not exist. Oh, okay. So, okay, here we go. Okay. Oh, looks like I already have it. So here, this is the setting I have. Okay. So I have that already. Now let's see. So now we're gonna actually try, the various URL. So this one, what we are saying is that I want to actually get the first item's detail. So this is actually getting the detail information of student 1 in the form of JSON. Okay. So that should be handled by the show. Okay. So if you actually see this format. And if it is a get, then it should actually be handled by show. Okay, so that should work fine like this. Okay. Now, if I actually go to REST app student.xml, so this is the case that I have just the controller. So there is no the ID, right? So I go to control. In this case, it's gonna actually go to the list, right? And then it will actually return in the form of XML. So if I click this one, I'm actually getting the whole list things in the form of XML. Now we're going to actually perform the create operation by sending XML data. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to change this code. Okay, so this is the case that we are actually capturing the request in the form of the params. Okay, so let's change the code. It's the save. the controller. So we are going to change code. Save. So this is a case. So this save is going to be used for the create case. Okay, so save. So what it does is that, we are going to receive, if the format is XML, then we're going to actually receive the student. Okay. If it is not, yeah, so this is kind of, strange as well. So if it is XML, then we have to actually capture as a param student. If it is not XML, then I have to capture as a params. Yeah. So this is kind of odd behavior. I'm hoping that could be actually fixed in the future version. Okay. And now we are going to actually save. Okay. And then, we are going to redirect to different, so if it is the HTML, then we're going to actually redirect. If it is a JSON, we're going to actually send the JSON and XML. Okay, so once, basically whatever things that gets created will be returned. Okay, and this is error condition. So, all right, so that is a save. So we save the change. Now what we have this time, I'm going to actually use, we cannot test with the browser because we have to send some XML data. Okay. So I have provided this the Hillary XML file under the samples test files. So I'm actually go to the samples test files. Sample test file. Okay, so I have provided Hillary.xml file. So I'm actually adding a new person whose name is Hillary Clinton and age 77. Okay, so now what we want to do is we are going to call this cur version. So we are going to actually call cur, and the request we are sending is post, and the header is content type is XML. Okay, and the data I'm actually sending is from this XML file. So, to specify the XML file you are going to use as a data, then you're going to use this at sign. And then I'm calling this student.xml. So this is actually just a controller, right? If you remember, if I'm sending the post on the controller, then that's going to actually add the new student, right? So here I'm going to copy this guy and run it. Okay, so you can see student has been added and it's returned Hillary Clinton. Okay, so that's what we see. And if I want to see the whole student, okay, I can see now Hillary Clinton has been added. Right? Okay. And yeah, so we can actually certainly verify that new students has been added. You can actually go to DB console. Yeah, this is wrong. Yeah, so I should actually say. This is not, yeah, okay, so what we want is the HT2 server. Yeah, so this is the one. Now student and run. Yeah, so now we see Hillary Clinton has been added to the table as well. Okay. Okay, so that is that. And now we yeah, so the this time we are going to add a new student in the form of JSON. So we have another student. Yeah, so this is actually should be is John's XML. Okay, so I should say John's XML here. So now I'm actually adding another person in the form of so we are actually adding a new student, which is an XML format, but I want to actually receive the response in the form of JSON. Okay, so we send the data in the XML format, but want to receive the response in the form of, oops, sorry. Copy. Okay, so you can see I received the response in the form of JSON. Tom Jones has been added. Okay. Study the param. So here you can actually, see if I actually see. I'm not sure actually display the params here. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah. Okay, here you go. I'm actually sending the student. Okay. And so params a student. Okay, no big deal. And okay, now we're going to actually perform create operation. So create operation, you're going to send the post. Okay. I'm sorry, this is still post. Okay. So we are going to actually send the JSON format. Okay. So we have a JSON file. Again, I provided it. So here we are going to actually add a UNA-KIM, but we also want to receive the response in the form of JSON. So we're basically creating a new student, sending JSON format. Okay. Copy. Okay, so the UNA-KIM has been added. Okay. And if I take a look at all the students, then I see 5 students. Okay, Hillary, Tom Jones, and UNA-KIM. Okay, so now we're going to actually perform update. Okay, so we're going to actually change. We're going to change existing data. So what we have to do over here is that we have to actually allow this, the method. So the update is going to be done with a put. Okay, so we need allow update with the put. Okay, delete with this. So we are going to actually change this guy with controller. So let's replace this guy. Okay. All right, so the put is allowed. And then we're going to change the update with this. Okay. Yeah, so basically actually, pretty simple code. Okay. Going to update list, show, edit, update. Yeah, so we're going to actually update. We're going to replace this update with this code. So it's not that much different. Okay, so basically we get the student instance, and then we are going to see whether student is the available. I mean, whether that student is in fact the existing student or not. Okay, if the student is not existent, then we have to actually return 404. Now we are going to actually see whether we're going to actually check the version checking things, and then we are basically so we do version checking, and then we're going to just save the change. Okay. And then we're going to actually return the so this is the case that we actually this is actually optimistic locking checking. So real thing is happening here. So if everything is fine, then we're going to actually call save, and then we're going to actually return this is when the saving is failed, then you're going to actually return 4.3. Now the real code is right here. Okay, so when everything is fine, then we are going to actually return the instance in the form of JSON or XML, or with the status 204, which is actually successful creation. Okay, so we save this change, and now we're going to actually create the new so we're going to actually update the UNAKIM with the age 222. Okay, so basically we are going to specify, so we are using put command, and content type is JSON, so this is the JSON format. And then I'm actually changing number5.json, so I'm actually specifying, so this is actually ID. Okay, so we are going to actually change Kim's age to 222. Okay, copy and run it here. All right, so it's successful. So now let's actually see whether we have, change has been successful. Yeah, so now you can see age of Kim has been changed to 222. So that update worked fine. So that put operation worked fine. And the last one is a delete operation. So we have changed this one to allow the delete. Okay, so we're gonna actually receive the delete the HTTP. So we should be able to add this one. Yeah, so we have already done that. Now we're gonna actually change the delete code. Yeah, so this is pretty similar to the update. We are just checking whether student is already there or not, and okay. Delete. Okay, so copy this code. Now let's to delete. Okay, so we wanna update this code with this and save the change. Now we're gonna perform the delete operation. So we're going to send delete HTTP method. So we are going to try to delete the number 4. Okay, so let's see whether number 4 has been deleted. Okay, so number 4 has been deleted. Okay, so we have only 4 people. So that worked okay. Okay, so that is that. Now let's move on to REST support enhancements planned in Grails 2.3. Okay, so as I said before, 2.2 has a lot to be desired. Okay, so these are the features 2.3 will actually include. So current resource linking mechanism will be extended to allow representation of both the single and multiple resources, and also nesting of resources. Okay, so we'll see some of those examples in the following slide. Okay, and link generation enhancement. So link generation of Grails to be enhanced to allow the specification of HTTP method and in accordance to generate the appropriate link. Okay, so these are the features that are already supported in Grails, for example. Okay, so Grails in a sense is doing a little bit of catch up. And response rendering enhancement. So new response method will be added that simplifies handling responses for RESTful controller actions. Okay, so we'll see that in a few seconds. And extended REST scaffolding. So we want to actually have some kind of scaffolding based on RESTful operations. So scaffolding plugin will be extended to allow generation of RESTful controllers out of the box. Okay, so for now, the representation of so this is actually what we are going to get in implemented in 2.3. So this is a single resource, and this is the multiple resources. Okay, so the URL mapping of single resource book. So here you can actually say this is create, this is save, this is a show, this is edit, and this is update, and this is delete. Okay. And now, if you're using the multiple resources, meaning the plural resources, resources book, then this is index, this is create, this is save, and this is show, and edit, and update, and delete. Okay, so this is actually making more sense. The single resource and the plural resources. Okay, both of them will be supported. And nested resources. So the what you can do, what you want to do in the URL is that I want to say the books. I want to actually find out the book number 1 first, and then I want to actually see all the authors of the book number 1. I want to actually get the book number 1 and all the authors. I want to add another author to the authors of book number 1 and things like that. So in this case, we need to nested resources notation like this. So this will be supported in 2.3. Okay. Link generation enhancement. So basically these are non-nested resources link generation, and this is the nested resource generation. Okay, so basically you can use these tags to have those the URL. Basically you're actually constructing the URL like these things, using this tags. Response rendering enhancement. So we are right now doing this with format, which is kind of clumsy, right? So the syntax of this one will be simplified like this. Formats XML, comma JSON, comma HTML, something like that. So this is a bit simpler, and that should actually work exactly the same as like this. REST client improvement. So the REST client is available as a plugin, and Grails will actually but Grails doesn't actually ship with the built-in web services, RESTful web services client library. So it will actually be included. Okay. So this is a case that you have to use the third-party library to do client-side APIs. Okay, so let's move on to JAX-RS. JAX-RS is actually Java standard for building RESTful web services. So JAX-RS actually support pretty complete support for RESTful services. But for now, so my recommendation is use JAX-RS. Okay. All right, so what is JAX-RS plugin? So plugin that supports development of RESTful web services based on Java APIs for RESTful web services, and is targeted for developers who want to structure their web services layer of their application in a JSR 3.1.1 compatible way. Okay, and so this plugin is at this point is alternative to Grails built-in mechanism for implementing RESTful web services. So when 2.3 is actually released, Grails will have a more complete RESTful support, but you can still use JAX-RS. So this is a way that you are going to actually create JAX-RS the services. So first you're going to actually create a resource. So here you say, once you actually install the plugin, you're going to say Grails create resource hello. So here you're going to actually create the hello resource. It will create the hello resource Groovy file. Okay, and it will actually have the path, and then get produces. I mean, this code is all JAX-RS code. Okay, so what it means is that this method will return the text plain type, and this method handles get, HTTP get, and this is the root path. Okay, so all the path will actually any path that ends with API hello will be handled by this resource. It does support. I mean, it does support all the JAX-RS annotations such as produces and query parameters and path params and all that stuff. So query param is you capture query parameter value in the form of a variable. So here, query param of name will be captured in this variable of name, and the data type conversion all happens here. Okay. All right. So let's do exercise 4. So here we are going to create JAX-RS Grails application. So let's try to create one. And usual thing, I think we're going to create the again student domain class and then add these two properties. And you're going to perform generate all. And then we're going to add some sample test data. So we're going to actually create two students. Okay. And then we're going to install JXRS plugin. Okay. And so JXRS plugin, we have to actually add this Maven repository where you can get the plugin, because our plugin is not seems to be in the Maven Central. So we're going to add that, and then we are going to now create the hello resource. Okay. And then this is the code that gets already generated by the plugin. Okay. Oh, what the? Okay, good. In the meantime, let me just. Oops! Wow. What is this? Okay, so. All right. I'm gonna actually use command line. Okay, so we're gonna create Grails. Okay, so create it. So we are gonna create the domain class. Grails. And we are going to modify domain class with this. Okay, go to JXRS. Wow. This is interesting. Maybe this is actually all the application that I have. Okay. I go to JXRS and I'm gonna create the Grails. Create domain class. Okay, that works better. So I'm gonna modify it, student class, and we're gonna modify student class with this. And we're gonna actually perform generate all. So Grails. And then we're gonna modify Bootstrap to, the so here we are gonna create a few students. them all. And now we're going to actually install the plugin. So we're going to actually change build config.groovy file. And we are going to add this Maven repository. So this is actually Maven restlet.org repository. Under repositories here. And then we are going to add this JaxRS plugin. So here, copy, and we'll add right here. Okay. Okay, we save the change. And now we're going to actually generate the resource. Okay. So we're going to say Grails. Oops. Grails. And create resource hello. So it should actually generate the hello resource file. So under the application, we should actually see hello resource Groovy file. Okay. It doesn't work. Did we save JaxRS? Okay, we saved them all. And we should be able to, okay, so nothing fancy here. Yeah, so we should be able to run the repository. Okay, so Grails create resource. Okay. Yeah, this one we see all the DBM file things, and we don't actually see create resource. We have domain class created. Bootstrap. And last thing is it's not important. Build config. Let me see. I have actually REST app someplace else, and we'll probably try to run it. Okay, so I have a JaxRS app. So I'm gonna actually just try to run this guy. So let me just this one. So this guy probably has all the resource files. So, oh, not that one. Yeah, so under Grails app, it should actually have a resource file like this. So here I have student resource. Okay, so I have read, update, and delete, and this is a collection. Okay, so yeah, so you should actually create it like this. Okay, so and when you run the application, so let's actually try to run the application. So hello resource, if you take a look at the hello resource, oh, this is yeah, this is the one, hello resource. It should actually, if it is a get, it will just return hello. Okay, and this case for username is going to get the get the username as a path param, and then it will just say username is something, then it will actually send response 200 with the entity that is actually created from this message, and then build. And yeah, these are all JXRS coding. And this one get user 2 this is a query. It's actually using path param, and this is query param. So we'll actually use both, okay, to see how that works out. Okay. All right. So when it is running, oops, what is going on? I'm not having a good time. Cannot find the plugin. Let me just remove the plugin and cannot find the JXRS, right? Okay, I'm gonna go to, yeah. So I'm gonna just remove this one. Looks like it seems like it's corrupted or something. Okay, so now I'm gonna actually go over here and try it. Okay, so it's actually reinstalling the JXRS plugin. I'm not sure. I mean, it looks like it was actually kind of corrupted. So that seems to be working better. So when we actually go over here, it should actually go to that the code that I actually mentioned to you. Okay, where did it go? Here. Okay, so we'll try that. And so then next one is path param and query param. So we basically add these to the method. Okay, get user 1, get user 2. That is taking the path param and query param. So this is the case that we are actually using path param. So the name of the parameter is actually Sang Shin. So this time when you call it, you're gonna actually see the username is Sang Shin. So let's see whether that worked. Okay, so yeah, that seems like it's almost there. So once it's done, we'll actually try this. This one, the next one is, this is a query param. So here we're actually passing the name of the parameter using username. Okay, so now when we run it, it should actually display user's name is peas. Okay, you can even actually see WADL file. So JXRS plugin actually generate WADL file as well. So you can go to WADL file. Okay. Okay, so it's there. So let's actually try to run this guy first. The first one. So it should have user's name is null. Okay, so maybe it's actually not. Yeah, let's actually try this one. Yeah, it's actually going probably the wrong place. Okay. Okay, so that worked. Sang Shin, and this one is returning peace. Okay. So if I go to just hello, yeah. So I don't know why it's actually returning null. So that should be API hello, and that should be this guy. API hello, that should be get, and oh, I see. So we have a two gets. That's the reason it's actually this is actually being picked up. Okay. So what we can do is, for example, we can say we can have another path, something like that. So we'll have the well, we're gonna just the we are going to just comment this out and save, and then let's see whether this one is going to behave better. Okay, so that behaves better. So now this method is actually picking that up. Okay, so the reason that this is actually being executed is that both of them actually the get, and there is no extra path. Okay, so this was actually being executed rather than this. Now this is being executed. So as you can see, that worked fine. So all the other JXRS annotations like produces and consumes and all those things should work fine. Now, if you can take a look at WADL file, you should be able to actually see WDL. This is WADL, Web Application Description Language Document, okay, for that particular RESTful services. Okay, so the next one is now. So that's exercise 4. You can also do scaffolding. So JXRS plugin supports the scaffolding. So you can actually perform CRUD-based applications. So we're gonna actually generate resources. This one should work fine now because I think there was actually a problem in JXRS plugin. Okay, I probably have this one already in the code. Okay. So let's see, resources. Yeah, I already have that code. Yeah, so that code is already generated. This is the collection code, and this is the resource code. This is generated by this command. Grails generate resource com JPassion.com student. Okay, so once that is generated, you can actually see the student information like this, and you can also actually see a particular student like this. Okay. Okay, and you can perform create operation. So here we are going to again create the Hillary Clinton again here. So we are going to actually go to this JXRS directory. Grails project temp JXRS app. Okay, so if I run this guy, I'm actually creating a new student. Okay, I don't know what is it's an error or not. Oh, cannot connect 8080. So that means so post header. Let's see. Yeah, that still works. So why it didn't like it? Oh, I have to actually go to the test files directory. Okay, so so that's not in this directory, but test directory. Okay, so Grails web services and sample utilities. Okay. Now I should be able to invoke this. So Hillary should be added. Okay, so that person has been added. Now if I try to see JAX-RS application is returning Hillary Clinton. Okay, so you can see JAX-RS plugin is actually doing pretty well in terms of RESTful support. And we can also create the create student. So let's try create student here. Okay. So we're actually doing pretty much the same thing, to the application that is built with the JAX-RS. Okay. So okay, so create has been successful. So now if I see the students, I should see the Kim here. Okay. That's what you have seen, and now we can do update. Okay, so this is update. We are going to actually change Kim's age again to 222. So right now it's 21, but her age is going to be 222. So there you go. All right, so that change has been made. Now if I take a look at the student, yeah, you can see Yuna's age has been changed to 222. Okay, and now we're going to actually perform delete. So let's do delete. We're going to actually delete the third person. Okay, so third person is deleted. So let's take a look at the list. Okay, so you can see third person has been deleted. Okay, and that's it. So I believe, okay. So you can use SOAP plugin, and you can use CXF plugin and Access plugin and Metro plugin. Okay, basically, you can actually specify this particular calculator service with the web service, and basically this is the web services annotations that you can use for any Java applications, and then it should work. So you install the plugin and you create the class with the these annotations and run the app, and then you can just test it, and then it's going to send a SOAP request and it will receive SOAP response. RSS and Atom is also being supported. There is actually no direct support in Grails, so you have to actually run some plugins. So there is what is called the fees plugin, okay, which is actually built with Rome library from Java. Okay, so that's available. All right, so that is the end of